the videos will immediately jump to that bit of the videos and I can listen to it again.
Solar panels work when light particles hit their surface with enough energy to knock electrons out.
Right, so basically, if I want to re-listen to any sentence, for example, I can just click onto it.
However, there's a limit to how much power panels can generate.
Right, and you can also control the speed as well. If it's too fast, you can slow it down. If it's too, slow for you and you want to practice, like faster listening, you can speed it up, or you just use normal speed as usual. If you don't want to use the interactive transcript, you can turn on subtitles, like English, for example, and you can just watch it while reading the subtitles on the screen. So basically, the shadowing techniques allow you to, watching TED allow you to learn, practice listening, practice pronunciation all at the same time. So I highly recommend this, right? Very easy. You can just search TED.com. On YouTube, you have the BBC Learning English, which is, a YouTube page for BBC, and they have pretty cool lessons in terms of vocabularies, grammars, and pronunciation as well. They basically have there you go, BBC Learning English, right? And in here, hold on. Sorry. They have a playlist just for pronunciation. Hold on. There you go. They have a playlist especially for pronunciation. This is a classic one. This one, The Sounds of English. This is a classic that pretty much every language learners or every English language learners have to watch at some point. And Tim's pronunciation workshop is quite cool because he would go around the city and interview people, like real people, right, in London, and ask them to answer questions. And you can actually hear what, native speakers actually sound like. Pronunciation video tips, pronunciation in the news, so they will pick out words and the way that anchors say things in the news, and you can just actually listen to it, which is quite cool. And they also have grammar, and they also have vocabularies, which is really nice. And they have this kind of like 6-minute English series, so it doesn't really cost you much time. It doesn't cost you much time. It's only 6 minutes. You can actually watch the whole thing, or one video a day. It doesn't have too much. And like this one has 213 videos, so they have a very rich pool of materials for you guys here, right? So there you go. I'm just gonna put this link in here. So if you want to check it out, check it out. Right. So that's a shadowing technique. So basically, you listen. Okay. So hold on. I'm gonna give you different steps. So step 1, you basically just listen and enjoy the content. That's it. You don't do anything in step 1. Basically, you just listen, you enjoy the content, you understand what's going on in there. And then in step 2, you start to listen. Pause after each sentence and repeat that sentence. Right. And of course, when you repeat, pay attention to all the sounds, the beginning, the middle, and the ending sounds, right? And then the word stress and the sentence stress as well. You will see the sentence stress is actually really, really important if you want to get like higher score in pronunciation and fluency, because if you don't have sentence stress, everything will sound exactly the same and is really, really flat. But if you do have sentence stress, the sounds, the sentence will start going up and down, and it sounds more natural, right? Step 3, you can repeat step 2 if you want a bit more practice. Step 2 for deeper practice, right? But when in step 4, what you can do is you don't pause after each sentence anymore. Listen to the whole video and then repeat after the speaker. So you basically try to speed it up. You try to speed it up. Actually, this one is not just pronunciation and fluency as well. Yeah. If you speak too slowly, you're going to lose score for fluency. If you speak too fast, then you also lose score for fluency. If you have too much if you pauses too much in the answers, then it also take away a big chunk of your fluency score. But if you learn how to catch up with the speaker, and it's not easy, by the way, it's actually not that easy, and still maintain very good fluency, then that's when you practice both pronunciation and fluency at the same time. Okay? All right, so that's the shadowing techniques that you guys can do. Another thing that I would highly recommend is to listen to podcasts. This I talked about in the seminar already, and there's a couple of podcasts that you guys can actually use in order to practice a little bit more. I mean, I often go for the usual one. I would listen to stand-up comedies. I would listen to John Oliver, Trevor Noah. My favorite is Mayim Bialik from Sarah Silverman, but Sarah Silverman is a little bit more sweary. She used a lot of foul language, which is not age appropriate for you guys. So I wouldn't recommend her. But Mayim Bialik is actually quite cool. But to listen to podcasts of your own personal interest if you want to. Yeah, that's pretty much how you practice pronunciation. Any question? Anything that you guys, don't know how to do it, don't know how to practice pronunciation at home, you can just ask. If you look at the score I give you guys in the homework, if you have like 6.5, then that's pretty good. But if you have less than 6.5, like 5.5, 6, it means that you really, really need to work on your pronunciation a little bit more, right? That is a little bit low, basically. Right. No, another thing about fluency, okay. Do you feel like you have good fluency in your answer? Please.
I'm here. About fluency, I think I'm quite bad at fluency.
Why do you think so? What happens? What kind of difficulties do you encounter in terms of fluency?
Because I think I need it takes time to generate ideas.
Generate ideas as in the content of your answer, or in terms of vocabularies and the way that you express your ideas?
I think most of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have fluency problem because of ideas, what should we do? Chang Yung, please. You have fluency problems because of ideas. What should we do?
I think in terms of if your fluency problem is because of the vocabulary, I think we should improve our vocabulary and.
Sorry, my question is, if you have fluency problems because of ideas, because of lacking ideas, what should we do?
In terms of lacking idea, I think we should improve I think we should read more and listen more about everything that may involved in the test.
Possibly. The thing is, you're not going to know like what they're going to ask you in the test, isn't it? So I say, yes, I agree. You should read more, you should listen more, but maybe not the kind of topics that they have in the IELTS test, but just, read and listen in general. Yeah, because this will allow you to expand your knowledge. The thing about ideas is basically what we know, things inside our head, right? Knowledge. If we don't have knowledge, we don't have ideas. If we don't have ideas, it would take forever to come up with an answer to the question, right? So when you read, when you listen, you start gathering, you start accumulating a lot of different kind of knowledge, you expand your own personal knowledge, then that's when ideas are gonna come, right? Yeah, it doesn't have to be IELTS. It can be about anything that you like, but try to listen and read a bit more widely in terms of different topics, right? Not just COVID, not just entertainment, right? But a little bit, different things as well. Maybe politics, maybe societies. Actually, politics is actually not that, difficult. It sounds, the name sounds boring. But once you start, listening to it, everyone get hooked. Trust me, everyone get hooked in different topics, politics topics, basically. And you expand your knowledge, and that's when ideas going to come. Yes, exactly. Right. If you have problems because you can't think of words, what do we do? Tuấn Anh, please. Tuấn Anh, please.
If we have fluency problems, you can think words. I think that we should learn more vocabularies.
How do you learn vocabulary?
Well, like in the theme.
What theme? Where do you get the theme?
Like some kind of scientific things, like for example, if I have to come up with a topic about sport, then I will try to learn more vocabularies about that topic, like the topic and find the word or themes around that topic. So maybe we can sorry, because I haven't think about it yet, so I haven't come with any ideas.
One very easy thing that people can start is, like with the IELTS reading and listening that we have in class. For example, today the topic is about health, right? So you are given a topic already. You are given a theme, health. So go find the vocabularies, that belongs to that group, and learn it by heart. Another way is to read. Yes, it goes back to the same solution as the other one. You read more and you listen more. Why should we read and why should we listen in order to expand words? Now, if you're trying to find vocabularies about health, for example, it's very easy to find. It's not difficult, like, at all, but you don't remember them very clearly. Let me say a vocabulary about health, right? I'm just going to put a random key in here, and it's going to be a lot of pages. IELTS Jackie, health vocabulary for IELTS, health vocabulary worksheet, health vocabulary, health and healthcare in English, etc. There are a lot of these, right? A lot of these. But this is a website I was talking about, IELTSpeaking.co.uk. Yes, this is the one that I really like. Right, the problem is, they give you long lists of words, right? Okay, there's going to be a lot of words, something, or this is like part 2, part 3 kind of question. Okay, this is useless. Chemistry. Oh, right, okay, there you go. They have a long list of words with explanation, with example, which is, nice. They combine it for you guys. But the problem is, will you sit in one place and learn these by heart? And can you remember all of the examples that they give? That's the problem. The problem is, it's just impossible to learn by heart, no matter how good you are, at learning things by heart. I remember, when I was in high school, like you guys, we had to do a lot of, memorizing things, but it gets to a point when your brain just cannot absorb another, piece of learning by heart thing anymore. And you just have to just stop. So an easier way is to read. You read an article, you listen to a video about the topic of health. And as you listen and as you read, you have the context, you have the overall idea, you learn something new, and at the same time, you have a bunch of vocabularies inside that text that you can pick out. And you already have the example in the text to tell you how to use those words, right? In which situation can you use that word? In which context can you use that word? You can revisit the reading. Is so much easier, right, than just memorizing it. Listen more about one particular topic, right? Say our today is about health, right? That would be so much better than just learning by heart. If you have fluency problems because you don't know how to express your ideas, what should we do? Ngọc Trâm, please.
I think we should try like basic structures first, and then maybe after some practice we can make it more complex. And maybe you should like outline what you want to say in your head first before saying it out loud.
But outlining your answer only give you the outline of the structure of your answer, right? But it's not really how you're going to express it. How to express your ideas basically means the sentence structure that you're going to use, right? One thing that you guys can do is, do you remember like in the homework, what I ask you guys to do is to record what you got to say, record your answers for the questions, and then write down the script, right? So you can do the same thing, and then add a little bit more. So you record your answers, right? And then you write down the script. But after you write down a script, revisit that script and change. Make any change needed. Like, okay, if you notice a very simple sentence, right? Think about how it connects with other things around it. Can you create like a more complicated structure out of it? How can you like connect all the ideas a bit better? And then afterwards, re-record it again. But when you re-record, remember to make the changes that you already created in the script. so that you know, and then you basically have a second chance to answer the question in a totally different way, in a new way, in a better way, basically. And hopefully that the next time that you encounter the same kind of questions, the same kind of situation, you would remember the changes that you already made, right? By the way, practicing fluency is definitely not easy. It's not easy. Practicing pronunciation and fluency are two things that are extremely abstract. It's inside our mind, it's a structure of our mouth, right? It's very difficult to evaluate the progress that you can make. But if you do it every single day, after a while, you will see certain, level of progress. You just have to do it every single day, basically. Right. Again, like I mentioned last time, we're not going to practice pronunciation in class because we don't have time to do that. So it's very crucial that when you are at home, you do it. So one part from this week onwards, one part of your homework is to do some listening dictation. Yes. The shadowing technique. Okay, I'm going to put number 3 here. Number 3 is dictation. So what I have prepared for you guys is my assistant will attach into the assignment a short clip, audio, right? A very short audio. It's just like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, that kind of thing, very short. Your tasks is going to listen to a short audio, and then you have to write down, you have to dictate. You have to dictate that audio. And then you have to listen to it again, listen and practice your pronunciation. And at the same time, and afterwards, you're going to record. Record you reading it, basically, right? So that will be one part of your homework. I know that you guys are in the middle of your end-term tests, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to give you like one short audio per week. But maybe, after you guys are all finished with exams and whatnot, I might increase it to like 2 or 3 audios. They're very short. They're like 45 seconds, 2 or 3 audios per week. And you can just kind of like, spread it out through the entire week to practice. Okay, that would be one part of your homework, to practice pronunciation. Okay, right. Anyway, let's read this one a little bit. So in the speaking test, 25% of the marks are given for fluency and coherence. Yes, a quarter of your entire score is for fluency and coherence. And you can lose marks for the following: repetition. If you repeat words, repeat sentences, repeat structures, repeat ideas, dead. Having to correct yourself too often, right, because you're not being understood, right? You can't get the ideas out effectively, so you have to repeat it over and over again. Talking too slowly or too quickly, yep, not a good thing. Long pauses before answering or between sentences. Now, this is something that a lot of you, pretty much every single one of you, have this problem. So you try to speak faster, but then you keep slicing your sentences into smaller chunks and create long pauses between them, and that is just not fluent. Overusing, not using, or incorrectly using discourse markers or linking phrases. You basically, if you don't use discourse markers, you don't have any point, right? But if you overuse them, you also lose some points. Give answers that are too short. Right, okay, so that kind of link with what we're going to do next, which is, how can we differentiate differences between part 1 answers and part 3 answers? Right, quick question. Wilha, please. How can you tell the differences between these 2 answers?
I think that the first difference is about the topic. The topic of the part 3 answers. I think that, and they need to be longer, and they need to I think that use more academic vocabulary comparing to part 1 answers where you can use. I think that because the parts 1 they're not really about serious problems. Yeah, so the answers they can also be simpler in terms of language.
Do you remember last time we talked about the marking criteria and we talked about 3 different types of language, right? And the one that we have to use is semi-formal, which is a kind of language that we use on a daily basis with a wide range of people. It maintains a certain level of politeness, professionalism, expressing things, but still in a very natural way, in a very natural spoken way, right? You just don't use slangs and teen code, that kind of thing in the answer, but anything spoken can be used in both part 1 and part 3, right? So I'm gonna put put a table. Right. So in terms of language, very similar. Right, very similar. So remember you have these questions in. I remember you have this one question in your homework. Okay, what's it called? Do you have any plan for the future or for after graduation? Right, that's one of the questions, isn't it? Okay, we're just going to put this one as part 1 and this one as part 3. Okay. All right. I remember this this question. This one asks you, what is your plan after graduation? Right. Now, one thing about part 1 question is, a lot of people think that, oh my God, I have to give a very, very extremely detailed answers. Actually, no, you don't. Right? Remember, part 1 question, part 1 answers actually. Part 1 answers are short answers. They're very short. And how short are they? They are 2 to 3 sentences. Right? That's it. Remember, you have 1 sentence to directly answer the question. And then you have 1 to 2 sentences, usually 1, to give a brief explanation. You don't go around and, give the whole history of your family name. Cô không nhớ chính xác là bài của bạn nào, thế nhưng có bạn đã ngồi kiểu kể ra kiểu ý nghĩa của cái tên của tôi. Kiểu họ là gì, đệm là gì, tên là gì. You don't really need that, right? Nhớ này, cái câu đầu tiên trong tất cả các cái bài thi của chúng ta lúc nào cũng là what's your full name? And they literally just need to know your full name. My name is Hoàng Phạm Việt Quang. My full name is Hoàng Tuấn Anh. My full name is Lê Minh Châu. That's it. Done. End of story. That is the kind of question that you do not need to give any kind of explanation whatsoever, right? But this is the one that you do. What is your plan after graduation? I can say at the moment, I don't have any solid plan. Oops, sorry. Hiện tại tôi không có một cái kế hoạch gì cụ thể cả. Có một yếu tố khá là hay đó là yếu tố biết từ vựng, đúng không? Tức là những cái yếu tố là I don't have any plan, fine. Plan không có vấn đề gì sai cả. Thế nhưng mà I don't have any solid plan là tôi không có bất kỳ một cái kế hoạch gì một cách cụ thể. And solid is the word to talk about the kind of plans that is very detailed, right? All I know is after the national test next summer, I'm gonna let myself go and enjoy life a little bit before things start to heat up again. Right. Nào, thế thì đây chính là một cái ví dụ của một cái câu của part 1 này. Nó rất đơn giản nhá. Nó không hề dài một tí nào cả. Nó chỉ có 2 câu thôi. Người ta hỏi là vậy thì kế hoạch của bạn sau khi tốt nghiệp là gì? Thế bây giờ lại kiểu còn kiểu thi tốt nghiệp còn chưa lo xong, làm sao biết được là thi tốt nghiệp xong sẽ làm cái gì, đúng không? Thì thậm chí dù là không có kế hoạch gì đi chăng nữa, mình vẫn có thể đưa ra được 2 câu nó rất là ngắn gọn nhá. The moment I don't have any solid plans, right? All I know is after the national tests next summer, I'm going to let myself go and enjoy life a little bit before things start to heat up again. Thế thì trong cái yếu tố này chúng ta sẽ có một vài những cái cụm mà nó kiểu mang tính văn nói một chút xíu nhá. Cô sẽ cố gắng là trong những cái bài, các câu trả lời mẫu như thế này thì cô sẽ đưa thêm vào một số những cái yếu tố về diễn đạt mang tính văn nói nữa, thì chúng ta sẽ bổ sung thêm cả trong cái phần yếu tố liên quan đến vocabularies. Right. Okay, so you have solid plan là một cái collocation này. Right, là một cái collocation là từ để đi liền với cả cái plans. Right. To let myself go basically means, you know, to relax a little bit, right? Enjoy life a little bit before things start to heat up again. Basically means to get more serious. Right? Vào đến trường đại học rồi thì làm sao? Things get more serious, like things start to heat up again, right? So this is a kind of a language that you need to use. Very casual, very natural way of speaking. You don't really have to, you know, create anything, you know, too academic, basically. Right. Another question. Cái gì nhỉ? Nó hỏi là do you think breakfast is important? Đúng, bạn nghĩ là kiểu cái bữa
em nhất ở tại mình sẽ nói ra nghe tôi cảm giác cũng hơi nặng, nhưng thật sự nó là như vậy. Nếu chúng ta tính
chỉ một chút xíu này, đây là do you think, đây là quan điểm của mình nhá, chứ không phải là kiểu người ta hỏi theo kiểu dạng part 3 đó là how important is breakfast, right? That's totally different. But how do you think? Do you think breakfast is important? And this is all on you. You can just say for me, right? Breakfast is actually not that crucial. I mean, I've been going without breakfast for years now, and I'm still in pretty good shape. So, I don't know why people have to make a big fuss about it. But big fuss, sorry, S. Okay, một vài những cái cụm này actually not that crucial. Ủa sao nói? Cấu trúc nhấn mạnh nhá. Cấu trúc nhấn mạnh này. It's not that plus an adjective. This is very, very simple. You just put not that and an adjective and that's it. Đây là một cấu trúc nhấn mạnh, nó không kiểu quan trọng đến như thế. Đấy, đến như thế. Sau đó giải thích, sử dụng cái cấu trúc với kiểu I mean. Or another way of saying, you can say what I mean here is that. Right, what I mean here is that. Or another very spoken way of saying it, I'm in pretty good shape. Khá là. Do not use this for writing, by the way. Do not use it for writing. This is purely spoken. Don't use them in writing, please. Pretty good. I'm in pretty good shape. right? Adjective or noun phrase, right? Or nouns, whatever. Right. And another very interesting phrase, which is to make a big fuss about something. Right, basically, like to make something a big deal. Right. Right, these are all very spoken language. So the kind of language that we use here is very casual, quite spoken, polite enough, right? Now, what about part 3? Great, I'm going to give you guys a... what is that question about teenagers and children? There's something about teenagers and children. What's the difference? The thing is, what are the differences between teenagers and children? It's such a weird questions, in my opinion, because I don't know, they're very different, you know, and suddenly you have a question answering. Anyway, this is one I did earlier, just right before class. Oh my God. Right. So have a look at this one. Well, I suppose there can be a couple of things to differentiate between these two groups. For one, teenagers usually fall between 13 and 16 years of age, while children are much younger. So appearance-wise, while children are young and tiny, teenagers start to enter the most horrendous phase in their lives, puberty, which means, actually, lots of obvious physical changes. Boys start to increase in height, while girls become more feminine. And on top of that, even though both groups can be naive, younger kids tend to be rather carefree and sometimes brutally honest, whereas the teens begin to recognize more subtle social cues and become more considerate to a certain extent. I remember when my brother was around 5 or 6 years old, he was a little devil and I couldn't get away with the tricks I pulled on him. But then he turned into, you know, a more gentle and calmer teenager and started signing with me, which was a nice change, actually. Okay, so in terms of language, very similar. What about length? Is there a difference in terms of length? So, please.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Length of part 1 and part 3. I think that part 3 is much longer and it has to be more, I think, more details and more academic.
You think it's more academic?
I think so.
How? Which words or phrases or what is it that makes it more academic?
I'm not quite sure.
Guys, if you wanna, because I don't know how to to show the full thing. So if you want to read it, just go onto the link that I put in the chat box, and scroll down to the last page and read a little bit more in details if you want to see it in full. I mean, okay, let's analyze the language a little bit, right? Okay, so on this side you have solid plan, let myself go, heat up. This one you have, what I mean here is that pretty much make a big fuss about something. For part 3, I'm just gonna down a couple of things. I suppose is one thing, is to replace I think, right? To talk about, you know, expressing your personal idea. What you understand, order to face. Then boy increase in height, come with feminine, and the little devil get away with, okay. get away with tricks, to pull on somebody. Right. Turn into. Right. Yes, I mean, in terms of, you know, like idioms and natural expression, part 3 seems a little bit less, right? It seems to have a bit less. But there's something that it has more than part 1. What is it? Can anyone spot it? Phương Huyền, please.
Và một lần nữa chúng ta thấy được cái kèo đường trên này thực ra nó vẫn là một kèo rất là nặng với kỹ năng phát trước là chăn dây làm choáng thành công. Pha vừa rồi anh ta làm choáng một cái chết cận kề liền ngay lập tức khi mà bên có mặt.
Oh no, ignore content.
Dưới sẽ còn pha mở tắt đèn nửa đêm từ Livy mà không có được điểm hàng một tiếp theo người đang bị hoảng sợ và nằm xuống.
There's something that this answer has more than these two little ones.
Length.
What? Yes, length. We already developed that. What about the sentence structure? Which one has more complicated sentence structure?
The second one.
Okay, can you spot? Okay, guys, can you go into this file and can you write down in the chat box all the sentence structure that you can find that is it more complicated than the other two in part 1, please? There is one structure that we're going to talk about later on, and I want to see if people can spot it out. Well, I suppose it's not a structure. I suppose it's a bit more like a phrase.
Quay trở lại với cái vấn đề của Buffalo thì hành trình của họ mùa giải này đã kết thúc, nhưng ít nhất họ là một đội cũng ở tầm gọi là tầm may mắn á. Tại vì bạn sẽ gọi là may mắn nếu như bạn biết vấn đề nằm ở đâu và vấn đề của Foggy ai cũng có thể thấy rõ khả năng đi được.
Think about the sentence structure, right? What makes it longer? What makes it more complicated?
Ở trong khoảng thời gian từ khi mà kết thúc hành trình cho tới khi mà vi sẽ mùa xuân 2022 bắt đầu, tôi nghĩ bên phía ban luyện của Buffalo phải bắt Foggy mỗi ngày.
Let's try. Who should we try? Quang, please. Any structure that you can find.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, we do have while. What else?
Which is not obvious, difficult to.
Okay. Yeah, Phương Huyền là thế này. We have another while here.
No.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Whereas.
Whereas. Yeah, whereas. Hóa cái đấy nó lại không phải là cấu trúc câu hỏa, đấy là chỉ là những cái cụm dẫn đặt. Anything else? Sao câu cuối cùng nó lại dài?
But then,
first of all, you have when, which is talk about time, right? Okay, and then what? And but which. Cấu trúc câu mà có sự xuất hiện của rất nhiều thứ kiểu when, and, but, which như thế này nó gọi là câu gì? Gọi là cấu trúc câu gì? Complex. Actually, not complex. Yes, exactly. Compound complex structure. So yes, with while up here, for example, and which, okay, maybe just this one, while, plus even though, or this one where with whereas, we have the complex structure, right? Sorry, complex structure with while and with whereas, or even with even though, right? That is also complex structures. You have compound structure, which is and, but, so, right? That kind of thing. And then you also have compound complex structures, which is to create like three or more clauses in one sentences using different, kind of like connecting devices. And sorry, that is what the sentence, make the sentence a bit longer. You basically use longer sentences, you give it more details, right? In terms of content, right? It's so much more detailed than the other one with lots and lots and lots of explanations, a very clear structure, lots of different connecting devices, etc., that allow you to develop a more detailed kind of answer. So from this table, you can actually see the differences in terms of length, in terms of content, right? Now, this is very personal, but this one is a bit larger. It talks about a wider group, talks about teenagers and children in a larger context. And the last bit is one teeny tiny little example, a personal example, but it should only be a small part of your answer. Personal example should not be your answer, basically. Okay. So what do we get from this? Speaking part one, very short, personal kind of answers, right? But with speaking part three, you need long and a bit more general. Well, actually not general, but a wider context kind of answers with lots of details, right? That's basically it. So this would be like a visual, for you guys to actually see that, yes, they are very different from each other. Okay, right. But language can be very similar, right? Language is very much the same. Right. Does anyone have questions about these? Part one, part three answers? Are you clear about the differences between them? I know when you start answering questions, it's going to be a bit more, complicated. But if you look at, the example, the sample here, you can actually see that there's a very clear difference between them. Right. Okay. Right. If you don't have any other questions, why don't we analyze this question? What do you mean add this to the homework? Or the document? Nhưng không có à? Ngân ơi, thì nữa Ngân cho cái link này vào trong cái phần assignment các bạn ấy nhé. Yeah, usually there should be the link in the assignment. Yeah. Okay. Right. Answers. Okay. Now, one issue with students' answer is the fact that you guys tend to go off topic, which is really sad. Now, let's have a look at this one. This is a very small text in the book that says, right, we're gonna read three answers from three different candidates. I'm just going to play the recording so you can actually see and read at the same time. And can you decide which candidate gives an appropriate answer and why? Okay, and why into the content. All right. One second. There you go.
Track 15.
How often do you eat healthy meals?
Candidate 1.
I'm very much a sociable type of person. So whether I'm eating at a restaurant or at home, as long as there's company around me, could be with friends, could be with family, could be both. Personally, I tend not to notice too much where I am, and I'll eat pretty much anything.
Candidate 2.
Well, there's a lot of pressure these days on people to eat the right sort of things. However, it seems like every day there are new pieces of conflicting advice from the government or from doctors about what we should and shouldn't be eating. So, who actually knows? For example, one week there's a study telling us chocolate is bad for us. And then the next week, there's another which says it's good for us. I try to eat healthy food when I can, but I think it depends on what you mean by healthy.
Candidate 3.
It depends what you mean by healthy, but I try to keep my intake of junk food down to a minimum. And most days, I make sure that I have at least some fruit and vegetables, even if it isn't as much as I should. Also, because I'm young and in relatively good shape, I don't worry about my diet too much at the moment, to be honest.
Right. So which candidate has the best answer, in your opinion? Lan Yun. And why?
Number 3, maybe.
Why?
Because he gave the length is enough and he used many complex structure. Number 2 is, I suppose that it's many example, and yeah, I suppose that.
Question, you know, what's the question? What is the question?
The questions in, you mean in number 2 answer?
What is the examiner's question?
How often do you eat healthy meal? Oh.
Yes. The purpose of the question focus on the how often, right? Okay, so does candidate number 1 tells you how often he or she eats?
No.
Okay, so what does this person talk about? Candidate 1, what does he or she talk about?
That he or she personality.
Sociable type person, in a restaurant, at home, there's company around, be with friends, be both. All right. Basically, this is like who and a little bit of like where you eat. Right? That is a totally different kind of answer. Khánh Duy này, what happens to candidate number 2? Does candidate number 2 stay on topic?
Candidate number 2 from down.
And remember, this is part 1 question.
I think that he feel like serious to answer this easy question.
It's way too serious. Does it talk about himself?
Something like new base of conflicting advice. I think it's not necessary in this to answer this question.
Yeah, basically, this person is giving her opinion, right, on healthy eating. It doesn't really answer the question of how often. It's just personal opinion. And this one sounds more like a part 3 answer because it's not her personal opinion, right? It's not her personal experience about, eating healthy meals, but this is her opinion about what people do today, taking advice from doctors and the government and whatnot. It's so much broader. It sounds like a social issues more than a personal matter, right? So it sounds more like the part 3 answers. But candidate number 3 is more on point. So which phrases in candidate number 3 tells you that he stays on topic? Thí dụ.
I, the word, and
oh, you mean like I? Okay.
Also my diet.
Ủa, nhưng mà my diet không liên quan đến how often gần.
A minimum.
Keep my intake, right, down to a minimum. What else?
At least some fruit and vegetable.
Yep, most days, at least some. All right, anything else?
No.
Yeah, don't worry about my diet too much at the moment, to be honest. Right, not worry at the moment. Right. So basically, he still talk about, keep my intake down to a minimum, most day, at least something. That still talk about how often you eat healthy meals, right? So this is 3 examples to show you what an answer that is on point looks like and what an answer that is off track sounds like. So try not to be like candidate 1 and candidate 2, all right? Try being more like candidate number 3, right? Right. In terms of, some very common discourse markers to change, to move from one ideas to another, right? Now this one, I personally don't really like this one, but for the sake of this particular lesson, talking about discourse markers, I'm just gonna give you guys this. Right, these are 4 markers that they provide us in the book, but there are more. Okay, there are more. And next week, the week after next, when we look more into details of how to structure an answer for part 3, I will provide you guys with more discourse markers, a bit more varieties. Okay, this one is just very basic. Right, have a look at these. There are 4 different markers. On top of that said, in particular, and the thing is. Can you guys mix and match? Sorry, not mix and match. Can you guys match these markers with the functions, please? Just write it down in the chat box. That's fine. Thank you. What is the function of on top of that? Which one is that said? Which one is in particular? And which one is the thing is? Can you write in the chat box, please? I can't tell if you guys are writing. Maybe while you're writing, I'm just going to call someone. Gui, please. Can you do these discourse markers?
Yes, I'm here.
On top of that is C, adding detail to the previous point.
Yeah.
That said is giving like a reason for the previous point. It's A.
Actually, that said is introducing an idea fast. It shared the meaning as having said that.
Okay. So in particular is an B.
Yes, exactly. In particular is B, giving an example. Yes.
And the thing is A. It's A.
Exactly. The thing is. So basically the thing is, it's very much like when you say I mean, or when you say what I mean here. Sorry. Is that basically you're giving an explanation of what you're trying to say, right? So on top of that, I'm going to give you guys a few more other phrases that you can use. On top of that, you can also say another something to put into consideration. This, right? Another thing to put into another, reasons to consider, another impact to put into consideration is, right, which is little bit more formal, but still spoken enough, to be used in speaking part 3, right? Also, or besides, you can totally use these. These are perfectly fine for speaking, right? Also and besides. That said, having said that, is basically the same meaning as however, right? They're exactly the same meaning as however. So for example, if I say my best friend is so forgetful. That said, right, he never forgets my birthday. Tức là gì? Thằng bạn tôi, đúng không? Thằng bạn thân của tôi làm sao thì nó rất là hay quên. Thế nhưng mà nói như vậy thôi, thế nhưng mà làm sao nó không bao giờ quên cái ngày sinh nhật của tôi cả. Hai câu làm sao nó đối lập hẳn với nhau. Đối lập với nhau. Đấy chính là that said. Right. Sao cái này nó lại câu thế này? Anyway. In particular, thế tại sao chúng ta cần cái cụm này để thay thế cho cái for example, for instance là nó rất là quen thuộc, đúng không? Nó quá là common rồi. Vậy thì in particular, or you can see this with. Now, I love this phrase. I love this phrase. You can see this with basically means that you're introducing an example without using the word example. That's the beauty of it. You don't even have to use the word example. People still know what you're doing. This is amazing. I love this phrase. Right. To further illustrate this, it's worth considering something, right? To further illustrate this, it's worth considering the situation of something, and then you start describing that particular example, which is very, very nice. Right? The thing is, what I mean here is that, or you can say, like, in other words, in other words, etc. Right. I would try to give you guys a full list of all the phrases that they're going to need, but maybe next time. Okay, next time. For now, this is all you need, and what I would like you guys to do is, I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms, and what I would like you guys to do is ask and answer certain questions with each other. Right, trying to use these discourse markers in your answer. Okay. First of all, actually, I'm going to put number 5, which is practice. A lot of questions here. How important is it to eat coffee? 1. What are some reasons why people become vegetarian? think the government should have more influence on people's health. Oh, by the way, if you know someone or if you want to sit with someone in the breakout room, just drop me a message in the chat box. I can open it for you guys. Okay. This is in part 1. Questions to practice. Underneath some part 3. There. Well, I guess you guys don't know each other yet, is it? Okay, so I'm just gonna randomly open breakout rooms, yeah? Right. If you know someone, let me know. If not, I'm just gonna open it. All right, I'm just gonna cut these and put them underneath. There you go. So you have 5, 6 questions to that. It should be number 7. Right, okay. Can you go in the breakout rooms and ask and answer these 10 questions with each other? Okay. Right, remember part 1, short and cute, right? Short and sweet. Remember the motto for part 1, short and sweet. That's all you need. But for part 3, you would need longer, right? A bit more details in your answer. If you want, revisit what we talk about up here, right? The kind of language, the kind of length, right? The kind of content that you need for part 1 and part 3. Okay, right. Number 1 would be Hương Giang, Hà Linh, and Minh Châu. Number 2 is Anh Quế, Việt Quang, Tuấn Anh. Number 3 is Minh Anh, Thị Thảo. Number 4 is Lại Sơn, Khánh Duy. So put you guys in group of 3 is easier to talk about. Oh, perfect. Groups of 3. All right. Right. Cool. You ready? Có ai cần cô gửi lại cho cái link này không? Hãy mở cái link này ra xem phần câu hỏi ở dưới này nhé. Okay. Right.
Đi ra bố có với cốt mà. Mẹ mồm to như cái trống ấy. Tự lên trên mà lấy.
Hello, chúng ta quay lại trong cái phòng này. Cô nhắc luôn một chút xíu này, tại vì cô thấy có một số phòng, cái này không phải chỉ có 1-2 bạn đâu mà có khá vài bạn luôn á, bị cùng một cái trường hợp như thế này. Đó là chúng ta gặp phải những cái câu hỏi khó và sau đó thì mình thì không biết cách trả lời nó như thế nào, hay làm không đủ ý, không có nhiều ý để trả lời cho nó. Thế thì cô nói luôn nhá, đó là khi gặp phải những cái trường hợp đó, để chờ tí để share screen lại phát nào. Đây, cô sẽ ghi một cái chú ý ở phía dưới này nhá. Đó là khi gặp câu hỏi khó này, thực ra ấy, là chúng ta có một bài riêng dành cho phần này đấy. Cô không nhớ là buổi mấy nữa, hình như là buổi 4 hay buổi 5 gì đấy, nó có hẳn một cái phần riêng là có những cái phrase để diễn đạt khi mà gặp phải những câu hỏi khó. Thế thì thứ nhất này, khi gặp một chủ đề khó nhá, cái câu đầu tiên ấy, hãy đi khai báo thành thật với giám khảo. Đó là cháu không biết nhiều về cái vấn đề này. Đấy. Không biết nhiều về vấn đề này. Câu cụ thể thì buổi sau chúng ta sẽ làm về phần này hơn nhé, để bây giờ chúng ta còn chuyển sang phần reading nữa. Thì tôi không biết nhiều về cái vấn đề này. Thế thì khi mà có cái câu này ở đây á, thì cái ông giám khảo, cái bà giám khảo tự khắc họ sẽ hiểu là gì, cái câu trả lời của chúng ta nó không quá nhiều chi tiết, nó không có quá nhiều nội dung, và họ cũng không expect mình là phải đưa ra rất nhiều các cái loại nội dung khác nhau. Vậy. Thế sau đó bắt đầu từ kiểu câu 2 cho đến câu 4 chẳng hạn, khoảng 2-3 câu gì đấy, thì mình bắt đầu mình đưa ra những cái thứ mình biết. Mình nói ra những gì mình biết, rồi sau đó ví dụ đến sau khi đây câu 3 chấm nhất, tại vì không thể giới hạn được cái số lượng câu. Thế còn cái câu cuối cùng này, thế trong cái trường hợp mà bỗng dưng kiểu đang nói, bỗng dưng kiểu đầu trắng xóa, ý bay hết ra khỏi đầu rồi, không còn cái gì trong đầu nữa, thì lúc đấy cái câu cuối của chúng ta hãy chốt lại bằng một cái câu giống như một dạng kiểu conclusion ấy, để cho người ta biết được là ok, đấy là cái phần chốt rồi, và người ta sẽ hỏi mình câu khác. Right, so that's everything off the top of my head. Right. Thậm chí là that's everything I've got for this topic. Và for this question. Hello. Right. Câu này chức năng của nó chỉ là gì thôi, là câu chốt để cho người ta biết được rằng là cái câu trả lời của mình nó đã đến hồi kết rồi, và người ta sẽ hỏi mình sang câu khác. Đấy. Thế cô nhắc lên một cái này, đó là trong phần bài tập về nhà của chúng ta thì chúng ta sẽ thấy là trong đó có những cái set đề để chúng ta thu âm, đúng không? Thế thì những cái set đề đó ấy, có thể là nó sẽ không cùng cái chủ đề với cái thứ mà chúng ta đang nói ở đây, ví dụ kiểu là về health chẳng hạn này. Cái lý do là bởi vì với mỗi chủ đề nó chỉ có một vài những cái khía cạnh để có thể hỏi về được thôi, và không phải lúc nào cũng có thể tìm được cái chủ đề mà nó sát nhất có thể với cả cái chủ đề của bài giảng, ví dụ kiểu health chẳng hạn này, cái topic đấy. Thế nhưng mà những cái câu hỏi ở trong bài tập về nhà ấy, nó sẽ vẫn là những cái câu hỏi mà chúng ta có thể áp dụng được các cái cách khai triển ý của part 1, cách khai triển ý của part 3 mà chúng ta đã học trong cái buổi ngày hôm nay. Thế nên là nó không có vấn đề gì cả nhá, dù là nó không có cùng topic đi chăng nữa, nó cũng không có vấn đề gì cả, nó vẫn là câu hỏi đề thi thật để chúng ta luyện tập cái cách mà chúng ta khai triển ý như thế nào. Vẫn được chưa? Đấy nhá. Chắc là chúng ta sẽ tạm dừng cái phần speaking ở đây. Cái file này thì trong cái chị Ngân với chị Linh sẽ attach cái link này vào trong cái phần bài tập về nhà cho chúng ta, để bạn nào cần xem lại thì chúng ta sẽ quay lại xem. Có hướng dẫn về phát triển về cách luyện tập pronunciation và fluency ở nhà này. Chúng ta đã phân biệt được cái sự khác nhau giữa câu hỏi của câu trả lời của part 1 và part 3, cả về độ dài, cả về cái nội dung, cả về cái language của nó sẽ khác nhau như thế nào, đúng không? Các cái cấu trúc câu mà chúng ta cần phải có ở trong bài. Thế thì về sau ấy, chúng ta sẽ đi cụ thể hơn. Chúng ta sẽ có một cái buổi mà nói cụ thể hơn về những cấu trúc câu mà chúng ta cần có. Đấy. Và chúng ta đã xem rồi là vậy thì một cái câu trả lời mà có làm sao nó đúng cái nội dung của cái câu hỏi thì nó sẽ trông mặt mũi nó như thế nào, đừng có đi lạc đề, ok? Và chúng ta đã có một vài nhé, đây chưa phải là hết tất cả, thế nhưng mà cô sẽ bổ sung thêm sau. Đây là một vài những cái discourse marker chúng ta có thể sử dụng trong quá trình mà làm cái phần bài nói, okay, để chuyển ý cho nó hay. Thì về nhà làm bài tập về nhà nhé, được chưa? Why don't we take a quick break, chắc là cầm khoảng 4-5 phút gì đấy thôi. Bây giờ là đến 8:35 nhá, chúng ta sẽ quay lại để làm cái phần reading. Phần đấy thì không khó. Thế nhưng mà cũng có một vài bài practice dài dài đấy, thế nên chúng ta cần thời gian để đọc. Okay. Right, I'll see you guys in 4 minutes. Lùi luôn, chúng ta quay lại nhé để làm cái phần reading này. Bài reading hôm nay thì thực sự là nó không khó đâu. Cái dạng bài và thẳng luôn là cái dạng bài để chúng ta, cái dạng bài completion là cái dạng bài nó rất là đơn giản. Thế nhưng mà có một cái phần mà chúng ta cũng sẽ cần phải nói cùng với nhau. Thứ nhất đó là cái kỹ năng về skimming nữa này. Thế cho câu hỏi skimming và scanning khác gì nhau ý nhở? Quế.
Yes. So skimming is just like read quickly through the text to grasp the main ideas.
Read quickly to get the main idea. Okay.
Scanning is more like I often use it in question like in line number. Scanning is just like how you express, like just to find the information required for each question. Yep.
What kind of information?
That's for example, just the scenario which the words is put in, I guess.
Not really. Scanning is also read quickly, yes, but instead of getting the main idea, you're trying to get the details. So details like names, for example, locations, time, a noun, a number, a place, etc. So something that really stand out, right? So skimming is to find main idea, and scanning is to find details. Exactly, right? Yeah, so these are the two different. Now, scanning is really simple. Scanning, you have a number. You're trying to find it. It's very easy because it's very easy to spot. But skimming is a little bit different. How do we skim? That's the question. Ha-Ling, please. How do you skim?
I just read quickly and like looking for some specific information. Or no, it's scanning. I looking for the main ideas of every paragraph and looking to the title to grasp the main idea of the reading.
Okay, so that's how you get the main idea, exactly. But that's what we did last time, right? We talked about like how to find the main idea of, there you go, right? Matching headings, right? Find the main idea in the entire passage, find an idea of each paragraph. This is what we normally do. But the one thing that we didn't talk about is skimming. And skimming is, yes, it is find the main idea. This is exactly what we need to do. But then think about it. If you have like a very, very long text, you can't just read every single word, can you? If you read every single word, it's extremely long, right? It's extremely long. So let me show you this one technique that you can use to skim. If I have, let me think of an example. Would you like to go for a coffee with me tomorrow? Right now, this is a very simple, sentence, right? But I have. Let's pretend. Okay, let's pretend that I don't speak English like at all. Not very good. Right? Very, very badly. I only have a few words. I can't produce like a whole sentence. So if I want to ask you guys to go for a coffee with me tomorrow, which words in this question do I need to give? Cô chưa gọi nhỉ? Cô cũng không nhớ là cô đã gọi những bạn nào rồi nữa. Phương Huyền, please. If I can't produce a whole sentence, which word do I need to let you guys know that I want to ask you guys out for a coffee?
Coffee tomorrow.
Yeah. The short version is coffee tomorrow. Anything else? Okay, I know a little bit more English than that.
With me.
You, me, coffee,
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right? So I would point at you, I would point at me, I would do a coffee hand thingy, and I say tomorrow. Then everyone knows what I mean, right? I just go to you guys, say, you, me, coffee, tomorrow, and everyone's like, okay. So these ones are actually called the content words. And this is what you need to read when you skim. Exactly what you need. You don't have to read the whole sentence, right? You don't have to read the whole sentence, but you just pick out the content words, the words that contain the information that you need, right? And then that can give you the ideas that you need to know. Other words, the would, the like, the to go, the for, with, right? That kind of thing. These are called grammar words. Grammar words. Now, the function of grammar word is to create a full sentence or a full question. But that's it. That's the whole purpose of it. It doesn't give you the content. What you need are content words, right? This will help you in skimming. Sorry, very quickly. Right. Okay, now I have a longer sentence. Can you guys okay, I'm gonna write it down here. Can you guys help me out? Which would be the content words that you need? Okay. Okay, it's the same question. It is astonishing to contemplate popular. Right, okay, this is the second example. Can you, in the chat box, write down the content words for me, please? We're just going to highlight these words. I call someone just to save time, yeah? Next son, please. What would be the content words? Vì nó sẽ là những từ nhá, mà chứa nội dung nhá. Còn cái từ nào mà con thấy nó không phải là nội dung ấy, nó không có cái nghĩa gì quá là nhiều cả, thì con loại bỏ cái đấy đi.
Astonishing, contemplate, popular, junk food, become first fast food restaurant in the US, opened a mere century ago.
Yeah, exactly. Khi mà gộp tất cả những cái thông tin này lại, đúng không? Thứ nhất, the astonishing cho chúng ta cái quan điểm của cái người viết của cái câu này is astonishing to contemplate, right? How popular junk food has become. Thì có yếu tố về popular này, become này, việc nó trở nên nổi tiếng như thế nào, phổ biến như thế nào, đúng không? First restaurant US opened century ago. Chỉ mới xuất hiện làm sao thôi? First restaurant cách đây một thế kỷ. Xong. Đây là cái nội dung chính của nó. Thế thì khi mà chúng ta đọc ấy, cố gắng đừng đọc từng chữ một, mà mình hãy đọc lướt qua tất cả những cái danh từ này, những cái động từ này, và những cái gì tính từ này, là những cái mà nó sẽ chứa nó sẽ nằm trong cái phần content words. Nó chính là content words. Đọc thật là nhanh những cái yếu tố đó để lấy ý thôi, rồi sau đó chúng ta sẽ kết luận được luôn xem là vậy thì cái đoạn đấy nó chứa cái thông tin gì và ý chính của nó là cái gì. Lúc đấy đọc nó rất là nhanh. Okay, đọc nó rất là nhanh. Right. Thử cho con một bài này nhé. Thứ nhất là chúng ta sẽ có một cái list of functions. Right. Đây, và yêu cầu của người ta đó là without reading any full sentences. Right? Can you skim the text? Right, I'm going to put the text in here for you guys. There are 6 different ideas or functions here. Provide explanation for the way people react, makes prediction, outline, growing phenomenon, describe process, contrast opposing viewpoint, relates a problem to a specific group of people. Now, without reading full sentences, I will have time limits for you guys, okay? Can you read this text called Unstoppable Rise of Burgers and Fries? And match each paragraph with these viewpoints, right? In case you guys need, the text will be in here. I'm just going to put it here so that we can, look at it with each other later on. But if you want, you can open the text that has been given to you guys in the Drive folder that the center sent you. Yep, just A, B, C, D. I think we have 2 more paragraphs. Wait, hold on. There we go. Right. Okay, so we have 6 different paragraphs with 6 ideas or functions. Have a read. I will time you guys for 1.5 minutes. Yes, you will have 1.5 minutes to read the whole text. Okay, and then match. Okay, ready? Go. Làm gì nữa nhỉ? Còn ra gì nữa nhá? Hey, right. Viết đáp án. Which paragraph with which ideas? Gọi nhá. Cho nhanh nhá. Trang Nhung number 1, please.
Number 1 is C.
Number 1 is C. Okay, how do you know it's C?
I read the first sentence of the paragraph. It said that research suggests that there is an evolutionary reason as to why people compulsively overeat, and I think it's quite similar to this. Provides an explanation for the way people eat.
Exactly. Yeah. Very good. Right. Rồi từ này nhá. Compulsively. Right. So cô từ này đúng không? Compulsively.
Compulsively.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Chị Dũng này. Number 2, please. 2
is 5.
Sao lại 2 with 5 là sao?
I mean B5. Oh.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's number 2? Make a prediction.
I haven't finished this yet.
Okay. Phương Hà này, number 2, please.
Con cũng chưa làm được câu 2.
Yeah, okay. Joe has a question. And sorry, Joe has an answer.
Yes, can you hear me?
What's number 2?
Number 2 is F, I think.
Yeah, number 2 is F. Okay, how do you know that it's mixed prediction? Which phrase or which, expressions and...
Like, actually, I didn't read it yet because, like, I feel all of the answer and then the F is alone, so I put it in the 2.
Unfortunately, when we do the test, it's not going to be like, any leftover blanks for us to do that. If you look at F, right, you can see that they talk about commenting really criticism, that's so much to promote the overconsumption of his product. Burger has been elevated. People no longer see it as simple on-the-go food. Consider television companies made several series. Basically, they're talking about promoting it and it's no longer a very common product. And the last sentence is, while such glamorization exists, difficult to see how our march towards global obesity crisis can ever be halted. Difficult to see how it can be halted. Basically, a prediction in the future, they don't know how it can be stopped in the future. That's basically it. That's number 2, right? Phương Anh, number 3, please.
I think it's 3E.
3 is E. Outline a growing phenomenon. Okay, so which bit of E does it give you an outline of a growing phenomenon?
It's some keywords such as shown.
Shown is actually not a content word. It can't be shown. Phương Anh, where are you? Turn on the mic, please.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, this one talk about studies. Young people become addicted young food than adults. So make comparison. Talk about studies that compare how much young people, can be more addicted to this. Which one is a phenomenon? This one is a child. This one is an adult. However, a child cannot. This is all about making comparison between children and adults.
Yeah, I think I choose wrong answer.
Number 3 is actually A. Outline a growing phenomenon, right? Number 1, astonishing how popular become. since then, taken over the world. Restaurant chain chasing levels of growth, no signs of slowing down, right? How it started, how it become popular, it has become this, no signs of slowing down, taking place in different part of the world. Recent study found that number of takeaway rose, become the face of increasing body evidence that we are heading for a dietary disaster. So this is a phenomenon. The phenomenon is the fact that junk food is becoming popular, and they describe it from the beginning to the development and how it spread. 3 is A, right? You can very easily pick out little ideas, little words from the paragraph to come up with the main idea, right? Next, so number 4.
I assume that for D.
Đi bò hả? Describe a process. Bò hay dê gần?
Baby.
Okay, right, okay. Which word or phrase or how do you know is a process?
I can see that it starts with this occur within the first few moments of eating, and then it says from there, so it's kind of like a process.
Yeah, occurs within the first few moments. From there, do the thus, pump faster while transporting down. Whose symptoms extremely similar to the thereafter. Sau đó, tiếp tục này, thereafter, body start to do something, takes place between 4 and 12 hours. Content was the same process lasts 3 days. All of these words put together, these are content words put together, they share the same idea of describing a process, right? So D is for number 4. Right. Yeah. Okay. What did I just do? All right. Ngọc Trâm, please. Number 5.
Number 5, B.
5 is B. Okay. How is it B?
The writer wrote yet at the beginning, so it's the opposite point. And also there are some words like although, however, and the writer like pinpoint some like ideas to like opposite the what he already mentioned in paragraph A.
Yep. Chúng ta có nhớ là trong cái buổi hôm trước đúng không? Trong cái đống thông tin mà chúng ta có về cái cách tìm ý chính, có một loạt những cái từ nối mà cô bảo là gì? However này, but này, yet này, in contrast này, các cái cấu trúc câu đúng không? Là while, although, even though, etc. là những cấu trúc chúng ta phải để ý. Vậy thì đây chúng ta có yếu tố là gì đây? Yet này, despite này, right? Although này, while này, trong khi đó này, right? Critics argue này, however này, etc. Tất cả đều mô tả cái yếu tố là gì? They want to contrast an idea, exactly, right? 5 is B, and the last one, number 6, we have 6 is E, right? Relates the problem to a specific group of people. Và chúng ta đây chính là cái đoạn mô chúng ta vừa đọc rồi đúng không? Là gì? Có cái sự so sánh giữa người trẻ và người già. Trong khi người trẻ như thế này, người già thì như thế khác, right? Người lớn thì xin lỗi, người lớn, người già, right? Thì đấy là cái E này. Okay, right. So that's how you skim. You basically pick out content words. You focus on the connecting devices. Focus on the sentence structure we talked about last time. Right. That's how you find the main idea. Okay. Right. Dễ, đúng không? Nhẹ nhàng nhá. Right. Okay. So let's do number 1, which is completion questions. Các cái cấu trúc câu mà điền từ vào trong chỗ trống thì nó có rất là nhiều loại. Nó sẽ có sentence completion, nó có table completion, note completion, flowchart completion, đủ các thể loại trên rồi. Ủa, cái này có viết sai chính tả đâu. Right. Rất nhiều loại, thế nhưng mà dù là loại nào đi chăng nữa, nó chỉ là một hình thức thôi, còn cách xử lý thông tin thì nó sẽ khá là giống nhau. Okay. I'm just going to write down all the steps here for you guys. So step 1, and it's extremely crucial that you do this right. First, you need to look at the word limits. Tại sao chúng ta lại phải nhìn về word limits trước? Uyên. Nhìn word limits để làm gì?
Để điền cho chuẩn.
Tất nhiên điền cho chuẩn rồi. Thế thì có vấn đề gì nếu như chúng ta điền không chuẩn, không đủ số từ hoặc là bị thừa?
Thì sẽ bị mất điểm ạ.
Yeah. Dù đọc có đúng đi chăng nữa và trong cái cụm đấy của chúng ta nó có cái từ đấy đi chăng nữa, như chúng ta làm sai thì chúng ta bị điền thừa hoặc điền thiếu nhá. Nó sẽ điền thừa từ bằng mất điểm. Điền thiếu từ thì đồng nghĩa với cái gì? Thiếu nghĩa. Thì nó cũng sẽ là gì luôn? Bằng mất điểm. Rất là đau đớn. Nên là những cái yếu tố về word limit là cái không được phép bỏ qua. Bởi vì cái này là cái dễ nhất trên đời rồi. Đã mất công đọc, đã mất công hiểu bài rồi mà còn điền thừa điền thiếu để bị mất điểm oan thì rất là phí. Vậy the second one, chưa vội bỏ vào đọc nhé. Cái thứ hai đó là to find the missing word forms. Right. Okay, so what are the missing word forms? Khánh Duy. There are only 3 word forms that we need. What are they?
Word form.
Dạng từ.
Noun, verb, and adjective.
Yeah. Noun, verbs, and adjectives. Nó sẽ không khác gì. Đây, cái yếu tố về content words cả. Tại sao? Bởi vì chỉ có 3 cái dạng từ này nó mới chứa cái thông tin chính thôi. Thế nên là khi chúng ta làm bài nghe, chúng ta làm bài đọc mà điền từ vào chỗ trống ấy, nó chỉ có 3 dạng bị mất, đó là nouns, verbs và adjectives. Right, trả lời Tuân Duy ơi. So how do you identify the missing word forms? How do you identify them? No? Nguyệt Hà, how do you identify the missing word forms? In a completion question.
To identify the missing word form, just look at the sentence or like the phrase, like in the question, and then you just deduct.
You use the surrounding words. Right? The word that stand in front of it, the word that stand behind it, and you're trying to see, okay, so what is missing here? It is a verb, is it an adjective? Which one would be the most suitable in terms of grammar? Và chúng ta phải đảm bảo cái dạng từ chính xác để nếu không mất điểm của ngữ pháp. Right. Câu phải đảm bảo chính xác về ngữ pháp. Nếu chúng ta tìm ra một từ, tức là cái ý nghĩa của nó thì hợp lý, thế nhưng mà cái dạng từ của nó lại sai và làm cho cái câu đó hay là cái khung thông tin đó nó bị sai về mặt ngữ pháp thì câu đấy của chúng ta cũng mất điểm. Okay, so step 3, what do we do? How do we find the missing word forms? Minh Anh. While reading, Minh Anh, how do you find the missing words? Minh Anh ơi, chắc phải ra một cái rules mới, đó là không gọi được một phát thì cô sẽ tự động cô đuổi ra khỏi lớp, cho out ra khỏi lớp. Ngân ơi, Ngân ngồi chỗ này không nhỉ?
Yes. What? Call me.
Con đi đâu đấy?
Cái kết nối nó có vấn đề, nó nghe nó kiểu như nó bị chậm mà.
How do you find the missing words?
In the paragraph or in the passage.
How do you find the missing words?
Well, I mean, like, missing word in the passage.
Sorry, come again?
Yes.
How do you find the missing words?
Well, I think that you can use keywords and just look up.
What are keywords? What do you mean by keyword?
I think you look at like the questions and how
We're talking about completion questions here. So things like this, for example. There is no question whatsoever.
Synonym or antonym?
Synonyms and antonyms of what?
Of the word, like the keywords in the questions, and they may paraphrase in the passage.
That's what I'm asking you. What do you mean keyword in the question? Which one is a question? Which one is a keyword? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Like the missing word, like the word next to the missing words.
Yeah, uses the surrounding words. So basically, while reading, use the title. That's the first thing. The title is the key. The effects of fast food on the body, and you can just locate the meaning. Well, sorry, the paragraphs. To locate the paragraphs that contain the information, right? And then use the surrounding words to locate it inside the paragraphs. And then you find, the missing ones. That's it. Right. Okay, why don't you guys do this this exercise? So from number 1 to number 7, you are allowed to choose one word only from the text. Okay. Oh, sorry, hold on. For this one, you have no more than 2 words. For question, I'm just going to write it down here. Question 1 to 7, no more than 2 words for each blank, right? And from question number 10, you have 1 word only. Right. I'm going to give you guys, 7 minutes to read this, and then can you write down the number? Can you write? Okay. Right. 7 minutes. Go ahead. Đọc cho cô cái bài trong đấy nhé. Làm luôn cần đủ 10 câu nhé. Pay attention to the word limits it has.
Jungle. Tiny little shorts and a leather halter top. I mean, what is this? I look like a living garden gnome. Where is my phone? Well, we are different people's bodies. It doesn't seem like the most pressing concern at this moment. Oh, really? You don't think this would be a good moment to make a phone call or text somebody or change your status to stuck in a freaking video game? All I'm saying is I don't have my clarity, okay? And I'm allergic to almost everything. Oh, no. You're allergies, Spencer? I don't have a top 2 feet in my body. Guys, this can't actually happen. Together? We're all in a coma together? It's the only explanation. That old game machine must have electrocuted all of us. Oh my God! You better get in there and go save her. I'm not getting in there. You get in there. Going anywhere. I got a backpack. You don't get water with a backpack. Everybody knows that. Oh! What? Are you okay? So intense. I can't even with this place. What just happened? I got eaten by a rhino, and then I fell like 1,000 feet from the sky. Yeah, that's what it looked like. That was a hippo. Down Everest. They're as fast as a horse over short distances, and they have a bite force of 8,100 newtons. How do I know this? You're an expert in zoology. What? I'm still an old fat guy, right? I'm afraid so. everybody's okay with this. Out of the dock. Guys? Anthony, get up. Anthony, get up. Dr. Brainstorm, welcome to Jumanji. Don't just stand there. In you go. Dr. Brainstorm, famed archaeologist and international explorer, known across the 7 continents for your courageous exploits. Is there a seatbelt? I can't tell you what an honor it is to finally meet you. And I'm not embarrassed to say you're even more dashing in person. Thanks. Who are you? Nigel Billingsley at your service. Ruby Roundhouse, killer of men. Welcome to Jumanji. I've been so anxious for your arrival. As you know, Jumanji is in grave danger. We're counting on the 4 of you to lift the curse. Curse? What curse? Excuse me, have you seen my phone anywhere? Professor Sheldon Overall. Welcome to Jumanji. Nigel Billingsley at your service. I've been so anxious for your arrival. What's with this guy? I think he's an NPC. A what? English, please. A non-player character. He's part of the game. So anything we ask him, he only has his broken series of responses. Got it. It's all clear now. Franklin Mouse Finbar. Welcome to Jumanji. Moose, not mouse. No good, sir. I'm quite sure it's mouse. Mouse. A nickname given for your diminutive stature and adorable manner. I knew you'd be here. Dr. Bravestone doesn't go anywhere without his trusty sidekick. Sidekick? Ever since Dr. Bravestone rescued you from the clutches of a warlord in the jungles of Peru, you've never left his side. Right. Can we go back to the curse thing? It's all documented in the letter I sent you, Dr. Bravestone. Perhaps you should read it aloud. Have a letter. Whoa. Right. Dr. Bravestone, I am writing to you regarding the desperate situation in Jumanji. Need your help at once. Guys, what's happening? I think it's a cutscene. A lot of games have them. It's like a little movie to tell you the backstory. My name is Nigel Billingsley, Jumanji Field Guide. I was hired by your former partner, now nemesis, Professor Russell Van Pelt, to lead a fateful expedition. You see, Professor Van Pelt had come in search of the fabled Jaguar Shrine, resting place of the sacred jewel of Jumanji. As you know better than anyone, the jewel was his great obsession, and after years of research, he believed that he had discovered its whereabouts. I finally found it. Van Pelt told me that he wanted to find the jewel in order to document it.
Bạn nào xong được câu nào cứ ghi phần đáp án vào nhé. Trong phần chat đi, cô sẽ xem luôn cho. Thầy của Huyền này. Huyền xem lại câu 1 nhé. 2, 3 đúng rồi này. Xem lại câu 4. Tìm cho cô cái từ nó cụ thể hơn cái từ ở câu số 4 ấy. 5 đúng rồi này. 6 đúng rồi, phải sai chính tả. 7 đúng rồi. Xem lại câu 1 với 4 nhé. Của Châu đúng rồi này. Tuấn Anh ok, câu 1 đúng rồi này. Ok, của Dũng đúng rồi, chính xác. Rồi của Trâm câu 1, 2 đúng rồi này. Ok, của Châu câu 4 đến câu 7 đúng rồi. Của Tuấn Anh đúng rồi này. Ok. Còn câu 8 đến câu 10 nữa mình đừng quên mất 3 câu cuối. Yep, của Nguyệt Hà đúng rồi này. Yeah. Thử chuyện nhá. Hương Giang ơi, cho có câu số 1 này. Câu số 1 là gì Hương Giang này? Của Hòa câu 1 đến 8 đúng rồi. Câu 10 đúng rồi. Câu 9 xem lại câu 9 nhé Hòa nhé. Hương Giang ơi, câu số 1 là gì này? Câu số 1 là gì? Anh Quế, câu số 1 là gì? Chấm xem lại câu 3 xem viết đúng chưa nhá. Rồi phải. Quế bật mic lên và giải thích tại sao lại chọn đáp án đấy Quế ơi.
Thì rồi em xem lại. Không nhớ em đang đọc ở đâu. Đây cái câu ở trong cái đoạn C ấy, thì nó có câu là processed foods stimulates the reward response, feel compelled to overeat and not necessarily in a healthy way.
Chỗ nào có từ stimulation?
Em tưởng là có thể, em tưởng là nó không nhất thiết phải ở trong cái đoạn context.
Cô sẽ nhắc lại một câu mà các cụ chúng ta vẫn hay nói là tưởng giới thạch ở Đài Loan đã chết rồi. Tất cả các từ mà chúng ta chép ra từ ở trong bài để làm phần completion thì không được phép tự tạo ra từ mới. Từ cần điền vào chỗ trống phải là từ có tồn tại ở trong bài đọc. Và nếu như không tìm được cái từ nào mà phù hợp với nó về mặt ý nghĩa hay là tìm với nó về mặt ngữ pháp thì tức là đang tìm sai, thì phải đi tìm ở cái chỗ khác. Thứ nhất, chỗ này cái câu số 1 đó bảo là reward response activated by, đây là cấu trúc câu bị động. Đây là cấu trúc câu bị động. Thế thì đây chính là cái chỗ gì? Activated chính là stimulate. Vậy thì cái thứ gây ra cái reward response là gì? Chính là processed food. Câu này về bản chất nó chỉ là đổi ngược lại thôi. Đó là gì? Cái reward response in our brain is stimulated by processed food. Thì đấy chính là cái activated by, và câu số 1 của chúng ta sẽ phải là cái processed. Câu 2 này, Việt Quang. Câu số 2 là gì?
Số 2 cho là the brain.
Sao lại là brain?
C. Junk food acts as a trigger for chemicals such as the feel-good dopamine to flood through the brain.
Yep. Đây, nó là một chuỗi thông tin đi kèm với nhau. Thì cái thông tin về processed food stimulate nó nằm phía trên này rồi. Ngay ở phía dưới nó có một cái là gì đây? Nó acts as a trigger for chemicals to flood through the brain. Và câu số 2 của chúng ta là brain. Right, number 3, Tuấn Anh.
Number 3 is surges.
Okay, why is it surges?
Sorry. Can refer back to the readings. Well, in the text, in the last line of paragraph C, we can see that meanwhile high, blah, 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 caused a high surge in blood sugar, but and pushing into the nut. In the text, it is announced, but we have to convert it into a verb to fill in the.
No, this is a noun phrase. Blood sugar surge.
Pardon?
Blood sugar surge is a noun phrase. Why does it have to be a verb? Again, you have to keep the word exactly as it is in the text. You must not change any form of it whatsoever. Nhớ này, từ trong bài phải chép ra một cách chính xác, phải tìm được từ chính xác. Chúng ta sẽ không được tạo ra từ, chúng ta không được phép thay đổi từ, chúng ta không được làm bất kỳ một cái gì thay đổi bất kỳ một từ nào ở trong cái bài đọc của người ta. Bắt buộc phải tìm được đúng cái từ đó. Nó vừa hợp với ngữ pháp, nó vừa hợp về ý nghĩa, chứ không phải là chúng ta tự động thay đổi để cho nó giống với cái mình muốn đâu nhá. Không có nhá. Và đấy là mất điểm đấy. Đấy là chúng ta sẽ mất điểm luôn. Blood sugar surge là một cụm danh từ đi liền với nhau. Right. Câu số 4 này, Hà Linh.
Câu 4 là body organs.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Chỗ nào? Ok, tìm lại cho cô nhé. Chỗ nào có fail to remove unneeded sodium from the blood?
Kidneys.
Yes. Cái thứ mà nó đây này, đúng không? Remove all excess salt from the blood chính là gì đấy? Là kidneys, chứ không phải cái organs mà nó phía trên nhá. Nó không phải thông tin đứng cạnh cái cụm mà chúng ta đang có là gì? All excess salt from the blood. Right. Câu số 4 của chúng ta bắt buộc nó phải là kidneys. Right. Câu số 5 này, Nguyệt Hà.
Presents particular risks for the elderly.
Yes. The elderly, exactly. Okay, where is it?
The information is in paragraph B, line 8.
Yeah, yes, there are multiple dangers of high blood pressure, especially for the elderly and in the long term. Yes, exactly. Right. Last one, Khánh Duy. Number 6. Oh, actually, not the last one. Number 6.
Còn câu 6, 7 con chưa làm được ạ.
Lan Uyên, câu số 6 này.
Là hunger.
Okay, where is it?
Dòng 6 từ dưới lên đoạn D ạ.
Dòng 6 từ dưới lên của đoạn D. Yes, exactly. Right. Take on such quantities lead to dehydration, condition extremely similar to hunger. Right, exactly. Ngọc Trâm, câu số 7. Trâm là câu số 7. Ngọc Trâm.
Câu số 7 ở dòng cuối cùng của đoạn D ạ.
Là gì?
The file content is so much higher. The same process lasts at least 3 days.
Yes, exactly. Trong trường hợp này chúng ta có cần at least không?
Không ạ, bởi vì người ta có cái cụm minimum đấy.
Yes, exactly. Right. Chúng ta không cần at least, đã có minimum rồi. Number 8, Xuân Hòa.
Em có number 8 là maturity.
Maturity, yes, exactly. Right. Chỗ nào chúng ta sẽ có cái yếu tố maturity?
Ở cái câu giữa đoạn 2 là an adult can apply their maturity to understand.
Yes, exactly. An adult can apply the maturity to understand that this thrill is not entirely without drawbacks. Tức là gì? Người lớn thì cảm giác đủ và chững chạc, đúng không? Để biết được cái việc đó. Okay, right. Number 9, Đại Sơn. Sơn ơi, number 9.
Con vẫn chưa làm đến câu 9.
Nào bây giờ không biết là cái chỗ phân biệt giữa người lớn và trẻ nhỏ đúng không? Thì nó nằm ở cái đoạn E này. Thế bây giờ sau khi câu 8 nó đã bảo là ok, người lớn sẽ dựa vào maturity để control. Thì còn bọn trẻ con thì làm sao đây? Chỗ nào mô tả bọn trẻ con mà không được hiểu cái negative consequence và không thể resist, chống lại cái thứ gì? Thử tìm cho cô xem nào. Chỗ nào mà bạn trẻ con không thể chống lại được cái thứ gì đấy? Nào thì đây nhá, người lớn này đúng không? Dụng maturity để hiểu được là có drawbacks và họ phải control the urge này. However, a child thì như thế nào đây?
Not necessarily see any negative consequence.
Chọn từ gì? Chỗ trống này thiếu cái từ gì? Từ gì cơ?
Đúng không?
Yes, exactly. Nó còn có một từ thôi, đó là từ urge. Right? Unable to resist chính là gì? They can't do it. Resist the urge. Right. Last one. Ai sẽ đến? Ai nhỉ? Phương Anh à? Câu số 10 Phương Anh ơi.
Cô là potential.
Gì cơ?
Potential effects.
Potential effects does not show potential effects ở chỗ nào hả Phương Anh?
Negative consequences.
Negative consequences. Từ tại sao một đứa trẻ lại does not show negative consequences được? Đúng không? Cái chủ ngữ của cái này nó chính là đứa trẻ này. Đứa trẻ không thể thể hiện hậu quả thì nghe nó không hợp lý. Đúng không? Nào chỗ nào mà đây nhá, trong này vẫn này là nằm a child này. Nhưng mà a child nó không thể hiện cái gì, nó không có cái gì. Chỗ nào có mô tả cái a child?
Self-control.
Yes, right. The last one nó sẽ là xin lỗi. Self-control. Đây không phải. Đây là effects of cái lack of self-control nhá. So này, they find it far more difficult to exercise restraint. Right? Với bọn nó làm sao rất khó để có thể luyện tập cái gì, cái sự gọi là kiểu dằn lòng lại đấy. Thì đấy chính là gì? They do not show restraint. Giờ cái từ của chúng ta nhé. Thế chúng ta sẽ để ý này, sẽ có những cái chỗ khu vực thông tin mà nó có rất nhiều từ nghe có vẻ hợp lý ở chỗ đó, thế nhưng nó lại không phù hợp với cả những cái từ đứng ở xung quanh nó. Thì mình vẫn phải đi tìm lại được đúng chính xác cái từ cần thiết nhá. Giả sử như cái kidney chẳng hạn, rõ ràng là nghe cái organ cũng hợp lý đúng không? Thế nhưng cái thông tin mà fail to remove unneeded sodium from the blood ấy thì phải thuộc về cái thông tin của cái thằng nào, của kidney chứ không phải là organ nói chung. Đấy. Thế nên là phải chọn từ cho chính xác. Được chưa? Right. Chúng ta trên lớp nhá, cô sẽ nói luôn này, trên lớp này chúng ta sẽ đi những cái bài luyện này rất là chậm để chúng ta sẽ phân tích ý này, chúng ta phân tích tất cả rồi hoặc là chỉ ra những cái lỗi mà chúng ta thường hay gặp phải như thế này. Và thế nhưng mà về sau đó thì về nhà chúng ta sẽ luôn luôn có 2 bài test để làm. Thế nên có rất là nhiều cơ hội để chúng ta practice những cái phần này. Ok. Thế thì giả sử nếu như chúng ta thấy là đi nó bị chậm quá chẳng hạn, thì mấy đứa có thể nhắn cho cô để cô biết là chúng ta sẽ tăng tốc lên. Hoặc nếu như mà kiểu đi nhanh quá thì cô sẽ kiểu chậm lại như thế nào để cho nó phù hợp nhá. Thế nhưng mà thường thì cô thấy là giải thích cho nó cụ thể thì để về đến nhà chúng ta có nhớ lại được cái cách mà chúng ta đã làm bài ở trên lớp như thế nào thì áp dụng luôn vào trong cái phần bài làm ở nhà cho nó có phần luyện tập. Ok. Right. Anyway, homework vẫn nằm ở trong cái file mà extra and homework. Okay, you guys have the whole list of questions for part 1, 2, and 3 to practice for speaking and 2 reading test for your reading. Okay. Right. Any last questions? Last words? Concerns?
Cô ơi, cho em bài về nhà tuần sau em xin phép nộp muộn một hôm nữa mà. Tại vì đến cuối tuần mới thi xong ấy, nên là.
Ok. Nhưng mà nói chung là đừng để nó bị muộn quá nhé, không thì bài nó dồn vào một đống thì làm.
Vâng, chắc khoảng thứ 5 và cùng làm sáng thứ 6 thì em sẽ cố nộp.
Ok, right, rồi, ok, cool. Được. Right.
Can I have a question that can you provide us with the answer key and the grading for the last reading homework exercises?
Ngân ơi, Ngân chưa gửi đáp án cho các bạn ấy à?
Con tại vì cái nick của con không share được ạ, nên con nhắn cho Linh rồi. Linh bảo Linh share.
Ok, mình đợi chờ một chút xíu nhé. Tại vì khi mà chúng ta làm xong cái Google Form ấy, thì các chị sẽ xuất ra một cái file answer sheet. Trong đó thì các bạn ấy sẽ cho chúng ta cái phần đáp án này và có luôn cả kết quả của cái bài mình đã làm nhé. Xong các bạn ấy sẽ gửi lại cái file đấy cho.
Con nhận được rồi ạ.
Huyền có rồi gì? Ok, có bạn nào chưa nhận được không? Tuấn Anh thấy chưa?
Ở đâu?
Trong email, check trong email thử xem có. Có bạn nào chưa nhận được không?
Em thấy rồi ạ.
Đã, ok. Đấy nhá. Thì kéo xuống cái phần cột AR hay AQ gì đó thì sẽ có cái phần kết quả, cái phần điểm. Những cái ô màu vàng là những cái ô mà chúng ta bị đáp án sai nhá. Thì nhìn những cái điểm, những cái xung quanh để chúng ta biết được là cái nào đúng, cái nào sai. Được chưa? Ok, cool. Right. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Okay. Bye bye. Đây là bài đi nhé. Bye bye.
Cô.
Bye. Bye bye.
Goodbye teacher.